So right now, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I scaled from nothing to retirement in 4 years with stock options and build a $1.2 million account. This is not day trading. This is not swing trading. This is not doing the typical option strategies that most retail investors do. I've been doing this for over 10 years now. What we're going to talk about in this video is truly what works with stock options and truly what's going to make money in a bull market and a bear market. So let's just go dive straight into this, and I think it's going to completely transform how you see stocks and options forever. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is set this up on the chart to figure out, hey, are we bullish or are we bearish? Because you can't buy stocks if you're not bullish, and you can't do certain option strategies if you don't even know if you're bullish or bearish or not. Like, think about how crazy this is. So many retail investors out there don't even know if they're bullish or bearish on a company, and here they are buying a bunch of call options on that company, for example. It's no surprise why they don't make money. So what we're going to do is set up this chart right now that almost has a 100% correlation of where the stock is going to go in the long term. You can look this up anywhere you want to look it up. Look up what the earnings per share does versus what the stock does. If EPS goes up in the long term, the stock is going to follow that in the long term. So when we plot this on the NASDAQ, this is triple Q, just the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. When we plot that line, we're going to have an idea of where should we be bullish at, where should we be bearish at, and then how to allocate our portfolios to capitalize on how we feel like the market's going to go. So let's start off with that line. So I already did all the numbers in the background. This line right here roughly corresponds to what the earnings per share did for the NASDAQ in the last 5 years. 5-year chart down here. We get that. Now, how much did the actual index go up in this same time frame? Bottom to top, we're going to say roughly 98%. Sounds good. How much did the earnings per share go up in that same time frame? We're going to keep this very, very simple. This is not hard. Earnings per share went up roughly 77% in that same time frame. So at the point of the time of recording this video right now, the market is roughly, we're just going to say 11% overvalued. That is the distance from where the earnings per share is at versus where the actual index is at. Now notice the trend just by looking at this 5-year chart. Notice how when the market is quite a bit of ways below this earnings per share growth line, look at the future expected returns. But when the market is above the line, look at the future expected returns. Like, yes, in the long term it's up and to the right, but it kind of foreshadows like, hey, this might be a little bit of a volatile time in the market because the market's a little bit expensive. And if you want to look at another chart of how this works out in a 10-year period for the S&P 500, let me move myself out of the way and we can look at this. The darker line corresponds to the earnings per share growth of the S&P 500. The lighter line is the actual S&P 500 itself. Notice the correlation. Notice earnings per share is up and to the right. Notice the index itself is up and to the right in the long term with it. But notice a few things right here. Notice how the actual stock price is a little bit expensive right here. Notice where the earnings per share growth line's at. This indicates it's a little bit expensive. So how are the future returns? Not really that good. But notice when the actual stock price kind of got stretched down below the earnings per share growth line, kind of like a rubber band. How were the future expected returns from that level right there? Looks pretty darn good if you ask me. Look again right here for Liberation Day tariffs. Notice how the market fell a little bit below the earnings per share growth line. Great returns going forward from that point. So how do we feel like the future expected returns for the market are going to be, and how does that going to impact what stocks we buy, what option strategy that we're going to do? Well, just by looking at this, hey, the future expected returns might not be too pretty for the stock market. So does it really make a lot of sense to go like ultra bullish right now? Maybe not, but we'll talk about that in a second and how we're going to actually allocate our option trades right here. All right, so now that we have all of that stuff out of the way, you understand this dynamic of where earnings per share goes, that's likely to be where the stock or the ETF is going to go. We're going to go back to this chart and figure out what option strategy to do. It's not going to be as simple as saying, I'm going to go buy calls, I'm going to go sell puts right here. We have to talk about more of the details because the details are what crushes most retail investors. You're picking the wrong strikes, you're picking the wrong expiration dates, you're getting it at the wrong time. We're going to talk about that right now. Okay, so this line right here, this is the earnings per share growth line like we just plotted. I want you to think of this line right here as gravity, as a magnet, or as a rubber band. When the market gets stretched below it, like right here, this could indicate the market is cheap. It could mean that it is undervalued. Because what does the market want to do if you just let the market go? It wants to fling back up and revert to the mean. Look up reversion to the mean on Google if you want to. Reversion to the mean is what stocks do in the long term. They just bounce above it, below it, above it, below it. This is the mean line right here. This is what dictates if something is cheap or overvalued. So down here we want to be bullish, up here we want to be bearish. You probably get that so far. So what option strategy makes the most amount of sense to do up here when we are bearish? Some people will say buy puts, some people will say to sell calls. I will say to usually do nothing with options and don't do anything with your stocks usually. The money is made down here. The money is made down here. The money's made through this entire time frame right here, to be honest with you. And I'm still making money up here quite a bit actually, but it's just easier to be bullish in the market than to be bearish in the market. Because if we think about this really, really quick, what do the CEOs want? What does the board want? What do the shareholders want? What is everybody motivated to do at the companies and all the S&P 500 companies, whatever company out there? More revenue, more efficiency, more earnings per share. When earnings per share goes up, guess what? The stock is going to follow that. So everybody is incentivized to be on the bullish, the winning team of being bullish. So when you are bearish, you're betting against everybody. So maybe you might think that valuations are a little bit hot. But think about if you go buy puts up here or if you go sell calls up here, you're betting against everybody, and it's honestly very hard to win in that game in the long term. So typically what I will do is not sell calls, not buy puts. If I'm really bearish, I'll sell my shares, or maybe I'll buy puts to get a little bit of downside protection. But the money is being bullish. That is where it's so much easier to be consistent and do this in the long term, because it's so hard to predict tops in the market. It's much easier to predict, hey, I think the market's largely undervalued. If I allocate this option strategy in a certain way, I'm probably going to do just fine. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to establish that we are pretty much bullish in this entire time frame right here. We are not going to claim that we could time the bottom of the market perfectly. Nobody on earth could do that. But we are going to claim this. We know the market's cheap here, it's cheap here, cheap here, cheap here, cheap here. You get it. The market is obviously undervalued right here. How are the future expected returns? You could have bought anywhere in this entire time frame, and if you would have been patient and held, you would have made a lot of money. So roll with me on this really quick of what I do, because it's probably going to blow your mind. You probably have heard no one talk about options like this before, but just let me make this make sense and give 5 minutes to let this click, because trust me, when this clicks for you and you have the light bulb moment, it is going to change your life forever. And I'm also going to show you inside my account to show you exact trades that I do this on right now. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I build my base portfolio, S&P 500, NASDAQ, individual companies. It is a proven fact that 98% of people in the long term are not going to beat the S&P 500. So that's what I call as my base portfolio. You just take all your money, you go build the base portfolio as long as you have a long duration time frame. If you have like a 1 year time frame, don't do it at all. 5 years plus, sure, you're probably going to do just fine. So doing that and doing nothing, just simply buying shares and forgetting about it, you are going to beat the vast majority of everybody else out there. Now with options, what do? We have our base portfolio built. Down here when the market is cheap, I'm going to sell portfolio secured puts. What is portfolio secured? Everyone says, Brandon, I don't understand portfolio secured. I know what cash secured is. Think about this very, very simple. Cash secured. You're selling a put option. You're securing it with cash, right? One hand, you're saying you're bullish to sell the put option. But the other hand, you're saying you're bearish because you have all this cash doing nothing. Like if the market is cheap down here, say we're really bullish on triple Q, the NASDAQ down here. Why on earth would you want to have so much cash sitting there doing nothing? Wouldn't you want to invest your cash down here? Of course you would. And if you look at how much the NASDAQ actually went up in this 3-year time frame, dude, it went up 140%. I could almost bet you that 99% of people watching this video right now, you're doing the wheel strategy, you're selling cash secured puts, doing cover calls, doing poor man cover calls, whatever you're doing. I could almost guarantee it that you did not make 139% in the last 3 years. A couple of you may have, but most did not. So that's why simply buying the shares when you're bullish is better than selling a cash secured put, because you have so much money sitting there doing nothing. There's a huge cash drag with that. So here's what I do. I have my base portfolio. That's invested in a market like I just said. So I sell the portfolio secured put, secured by my base portfolio, because cash is cash, but I could just go sell shares in my base portfolio, generate cash, and then go take assignment if I ever have to go take assignment. I am not actively on margin. I am not paying anything in margin interest. And you're going to say, well, Brandon, what if the market crashes 50%? I'm going to be just fine. And I'm going to prove it to you in just a second why I will be just fine. So risk management is coming, and that is critical. I'm huge on risk management. I'm not just someone that said, oh, I got lucky in this time frame right here. I've been doing this system for 10 years, guys, through bull markets, bear markets, COVID, this dip right here, whatever. It works, but just roll with me on this now. So I'm selling a portfolio secured put. What strike price and what expiration date am I going to pick? This is what the typical person's going to do right here. We're just not going to assume that we're going to time the bottom of the market perfectly. We're going to say that we did it right here when the market's a little bit higher. Okay, it's February 3rd of 2023. Let's go to March 3rd of 2023. You can literally see the line not even moving. This is 1 month right here of line movement. The typical person is going to buy a call option right there and sell a cash secured put right there. Market did this little dip. Your cash secured put's probably going to get assigned because you had a crappy strike price because it's just barely below the money because you want to get some premium. So the market fell, you got assigned. Your calls that you bought for 1 month, you lost money on it. Meanwhile, yes, the market is clearly undervalued, but you missed out on the big move because you only did a 1 month contract. You did not be able to capture any amount of earnings per share going up and any amount of the actual index going back to the valuation level that it should be trading at. So here's what I do. I go right here. We're going to go from February of 2023 and we're going to go to February of 2025 all the way out to right here. That is my expiration date that I'm going to pick. Now, what I'm going to do is choose a strike price roughly 10% below the money, okay? My strike price is going to be right here, roughly $281 on the bottom right. Here's what we have to think in our heads right now. Let's say that when we initiated this trade, Brandon did this trade when the market is roughly, we'll just say 24% undervalued. Great. But what is the market undervalued versus my strike price and expiration date? Over here, I know it literally seems insane, but this is the margin of safety that I'm building into my trade. My margin of safety is 82% right here. Your margin of safety is 24%, but you're not really capturing anything because you're not giving it enough time to truly play out. So meanwhile, 2-year period, the CEOs can boost earnings per share, boost their revenue, become more efficient. I have this tailwind of growth behind me. I also have the tailwind of, hey, this market is actually undervalued to start. So why would it not be okay to buy these shares 2 years from this undervalued level at a lower strike price and get paid to do it? That is what selling 2-year portfolio secured puts is doing. And again, I have no cash sitting here doing nothing. My cash is riding this amount higher right here. My portfolio is securing the put that I sell. So I build a base portfolio, sell the portfolio secured put. The second that I sell the put, that amount of premium that I generate goes to the cash balance in my account. What do I then do with that money? I then take it and reinvest it back into the market. So I made money because the market went up. I made money from the sold put, collected the cash flow, and then I reinvested that cash flow again. I bought shares and I probably bought some calls down here too. And with the sold put, look at my humongous margin of safety right here. Look at how far away we truly are from where the earnings per share growth line's at. Remember, this line is like a rubber band. This line's like gravity. The farther away that you get from it, the more tension there is for that share price to rebound and go back up to the earnings per share. The stock or the market's going to follow this in the long term. You have to understand that. So that is why you might be stressing and being upset with your shorter duration option contracts that you're just not being consistent with because you're not giving things enough time to play out. You're choosing the wrong durations, the wrong expiration dates, the wrong strike prices versus what I'm doing. I'm taking my money, generating big cash flow right here. Say I generate $20,000 for a 2-year contract, maybe you generate $1,000. I'm investing $20K right here when the market is clearly cheap. I'm not claiming I bought the bottom perfectly either. I'm just saying that it is obvious the market is cheap right here. I generate $20K. I buy calls right here. I buy shares right here, and I be patient and ride them for the next couple years. On top of that, let's think about where the sentiment in the market is down here. Like, we'll just use this dip. It's a little bit cleaner. There's too much stuff going on here. What is the sentiment of the typical retail investor when the market's falling right here? They're like, oh my God, the market's going down. It's going to keep going down. They visualize in their head before they go to bed at night, like, this is what I think the market's going to do. And they're panicking. So what do they want to do? They want to buy put options right here. They want to buy puts. They want to hedge their downside. They say, well, man, I don't know. The market's falling. What if it keeps falling? You know what smart investors do? They say, oh man, the market's falling. It's getting cheaper. It's getting safer. It's more compelling. It's below the earnings per share growth line. It's fundamentally cheap. I should go buy down there. So while the masses and the herd of people is freaking out buying puts right here, they're bidding up the put premiums. They're paying top dollar for puts. I am selling them those puts for top dollar right here. Like in this dip right here, I sold a bunch of puts on like TSM, AMD, NVIDIA, various other companies too. Everyone's freaking out down here wanting to buy downside protection. I sell the puts for top dollar. But 3 or 4 months went by, and that 24-month contract, that 2-year sold put, I closed it out for like a 75% profit. Because not only did the share price rebound, but the sentiment flipped. Everybody wants puts down here. Nobody wants puts as the market's going up. Nobody wants calls down here. Everybody wants calls as the market's going up. So I sold puts for top dollar right here. I bought calls for bottom dollar right here. And then when the market flipped, I bought calls cheap, I sold them expensive. I sold puts for a lot, I bought them back for almost nothing. That is the name of the game of how to capitalize on the emotional retail investor. Longer duration wins. It's so much easier. It's so much more consistent. You're going to say, well, Brandon, you don't get any theta. How does that stuff work? I do get theta. You're so stressed out about theta, but it's like you're not going to make any money doing your strategy in the long term anyways. You are not even beating the S&P 500. So my base portfolio is invested. When it's ultra compelling, I sell portfolio secured puts, take the cash flow, buy calls, buy shares, and ride them for the long term. Now, really quick on risk management, you can see that for my day change in the market, up 0.86%, S&P did 0.26, NASDAQ did 0.25, and at all times, just to be honest with you, you might think I'm crazy though, I'm always prepared for a 50% stock market crash. Always, because if you're not, you're going to get eventually wiped out. Something bad's going to happen, you're going to get smoked. So here's how risk management goes down a little bit, and then we'll go into this account. I'll show you a few trades that I have open right now, and we'll kind of bring this home full circle here. So this is a $1.2 million account. So when you sell a put option, what is that technically forcing you to do? You got to buy shares at a certain price in a certain time frame. People that do cash secured puts, they're just like, hey, Brandon, I got the cash ready to go for assignment. I hope I don't get assigned, but if I do get assigned, there it is. All the puts that I sell, I don't even care if I get assigned. Number one, like I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been assigned 4 times following this system. So your chance of getting assigned if you follow what I do, very, very, very low. But hey, we want to be responsible investors that could always survive a 50% crash. So this is how the risk management thing pops in right here. $1.2 million account. And to be honest with you, the easiest way to set this up, we're just going to do this on the trade ticket right here just to make all this make sense. Triple Q, we're going to go to a put option, we're going to go to sell to open, and we're just going to say that we pick, I don't know, we'll just go all the way out to right here, and we're going to pick a $600 strike price. We're going to sell this put all the way out. This account, by the way, has level 3 options. This is my current level right here. Call up your broker and get all that set up, and you'll be able to do portfolio secured puts. I have minimal in cash right now, but I have a couple $1 million in buying power. I always like to have that ready to go. But my money is always working. I have no cash in my account. It's always working doing something. So back to what we were talking about. $600 strike price put. If you do this cash secured, you're going to have $60,000 on the sidelines sitting here doing nothing, just waiting for assignment. Because one contract is 100 shares. 100 shares times $600 is going to be $60,000 per contract. Think about that. $60,000 you're going to have sitting there doing nothing when you were bullish. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So here's how the whole risk management thing comes into play. Let's just say that I bump this to 10 contracts right here, okay? We'll make this very simple. What is 10 times 100 times 600? That is $600,000, okay? 600K. If I were to sell these puts, go in the money on every single put and get assigned, I'm going to have to come up with $600,000, okay? $600,000. But remember, my account is $1.2 million. So even if my account were to fall 50%, that account's going to go from $1.2 million to $600,000. Who's to say I'm not just going to go sell my shares, generate $600,000 worth of cash, to then just go buy more shares of what I already had in my account? That's exactly what I could do. Tell me how I can get wiped out if that is exactly what I do. Full disclosure, that right there, I call that like an assignment value of 50%. That's what I talk about with all the Discord people. My current assignment value right now is like 20%. So theoretically speaking, like if the market fell 50%, like I'm going to be very fine. I have a lot of buying power on the sidelines ready to go, and it's going to work out very good. Okay, so to wrap this video up, I'm going to go very high level of this meta trade that I recently did. Sold the puts, collected $46,000 in cash flow immediately. That 46K went right here to the cash balance in my account. What did I do with that money? I took that money and bought shares of Meta. I also bought calls on Meta, and I also bought shares in the base portfolio. You can see my cash. I have no cash in this account. I'm not actively paying margin interest. I have my money invested in the market. I'm not saying I'm ultra bullish right now, like I'm ultra bullish on Meta, obviously, but I also have roughly 20% of this account in bonds right now. So my ratios are always in check. That's kind of like a very high level, the flow of the money of how this actually goes down. So if you want to watch another similar video to this one, but goes a little bit more into detail of how this actually works out, watch this video right here. It's going to help you out a lot. And also check out the pinned comment for something else that's going to help you out a lot too. And I'll see you guys there.